Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. Today I will be explaining you about indifference curve analysis. Indifference curve analysis occupies a very important part in economic theory. It is a tool which is used to measure utility of a consumer. It is defined as the locus of all combination of two goods which yield the same level of satisfaction and utility to the consumer. Here we have the diagrammatic representation of indifference curve analysis, where IC is the indifference curve. X-axis represents good X, Y-axis represents good Y. Let us try to relate each and every word of the definition with a diagram. So what is the first thing that is written? It is a locus of all combination of two goods. What it means is that indifference curve is a culmination of various points, where each point depicts the combination of two goods. Here two goods being good X and good Y. So basically this curve is depicting combinations of good X and good Y, which is fine. But what makes the indifference curve special or different? Basically, it's basically trying to say, or it is basically trying to depict that it shows the combination of two goods which is yielding the same level of satisfaction and utility to the consumer. That means whether it is at point A or at point B, where the combination of good X and Y at point A is different from the combination of good X and Y at point B, but both of this point they give the same level of satisfaction to the consumer. In fact, any other point, the combination of good X and Y will differ, but they give the equal level of satisfaction to the consumer, which is why indifference curve is also known as the equal satisfaction curve, because every consumption bundle in this indifference curve gives the same level of satisfaction to the consumer. The slope of indifference curve also occupies a very important part in the indifference curve analysis. It is also known as MRS, that is the marginal rate of substitution. MRS measures the rate at which the consumer is prepared to exchange one good for another. It is the basic definition of MRS. But what necessitates the measurement of such a rate? It arises because of our basic notion or the basic definition of indifference curve, that is to maintain the same level of satisfaction. The consumer is prepared to exchange one good for another in order to maintain the same level of satisfaction, or in order to remain in the same indifference curve. Here it is written MRS XY is equal to delta Y by delta X. Okay, MRS XY means marginal rate of substitution of good X for good Y is equal to change in Y by change in X, which basically means the amount of good Y the consumer has to compensate in order to get one extra unit of good X, so that he or she will remain in the same indifference curve. Okay, the consumer has to compensate some amount of, in order to get some amount of good X, the consumer has to compensate some amount of good Y, so that, and that is done, and it is necessary that it should be done in order for the consumer to remain in the same indifference curve, that is to gain same amount of utility or satisfaction. Okay, so that rate, so basically that rate is what is known as the marginal rate of substitution. The rate at which such an exchange occurs is what is marginal rate of substitution. Another important concept that is related to marginal rate of substitution is the operation of diminishing MRS. The operation of diminishing MRS is responsible for the downward sloping nature of the indifference curve. This particular operation states that as a consumer consumes more of a certain commodity, let us say in this case it is good X, then he or she is willing to forego less of good Y in exchange for a unit increase in good X. Why does this process take place? This happens because the exchange process of good X and Y, in order to remain at the same indifference curve, is different at different places. For instance, in the upper part of the indifference curve, here for a unit increase in good X, the consumer is compensating a huge amount of good Y. As we can see over here, huge amount of good Y. But at the downward part of the indifference curve, when a consumer is for a unit increase in good X, the consumer is compensating very less amount of good Y. Why does this take place? Such a situation arises because the marginal significance of a commodity reduces when its quantity increases. At this point, the marginal significance of good Y is less because the units of good Y over here is more. The consumer has more of good Y and less of good X at this point. That is why the marginal significance or the importance of good Y is less. Therefore, at this point, the consumer is willing to forego more of good Y for a unit change in increase in good X. By the time it reaches over here, the units of good Y has fallen and the units of good X has risen, which is why the marginal importance of good Y has risen for the consumer at this point, which implies that the consumer is willing to forego less of good Y for a unit increase in good X. Now we come to the properties of indifference curve. The first property states that it slopes downward to the right. The second property states it is convex to the origin. Both of these properties are linked to one common aspect, that is the slope of indifference curve, which is the marginal rate of substitution. The first property, which says that it slopes downward to the right, it has already been discussed before in the video. As in order for the consumer to remain in the same indifference curve, the person has to forego some units of good Y in order to get an additional unit of good X. So that actually culminates in the downward sloping nature of the curve. Second point, or the second property is it is convex to the origin. That is linked with the diminishing marginal rate of substitution, which means as the consumer consumes more of good X, he or she wants to forego very little of good Y, and that again culminates in the convex nature or the convex shape of the curve. Now the third property of indifference curve states that indifference curves cannot intersect each other. This property is based on 2 points. Number one is that a particular indifference curve has the same level of satisfaction and two indifference curves have different level of satisfaction. In this diagram, we have two indifference curves IC1 and IC2, and they have different level of satisfaction. Now point A and point C, since they are on the same indifference curve IC2, they have the same level of satisfaction or they yield the same level of utility. Similarly, point B and point C, they are also on the same indifference curve IC1, which means they also yield the same level of utility. We have written that thing over here, that is A is equal to C. That means utility of A and utility of C are same as proved over here, and utility of B and utility of C are same as proved over here. So by the rule of transitivity, utility of A and B should also be same, but that is not the case because A and B are at two different indifference curves. So which means they will naturally yield different level of satisfaction. So since this whole thing contradicts, which is why it proves that indifference curve cannot intersect each other. For the indifference, because if the indifference curve intersect each other like they are doing over here, then they will have one common point which will show that they have same level of satisfaction. That is, both the indifference curve show same level of satisfaction. But that is not true. Hence, indifference curves cannot intersect each other. Now, the fourth property of indifference curve states that higher indifference curve yields higher level of satisfaction. In this diagram, we see that there are two indifference curves, IC1 and IC2. Here, IC2 is the higher indifference curve as compared to IC1. Now, the combination Q at indifference curve IC2 provides more satisfaction to the consumer than the combination P at indifference curve IC1, Why is that so? It is because at Q, the consumer is getting more of good X and more of good Y. You can clearly see that. And as a matter of fact, it is already known that the total utility has a tendency to increase when the stock of goods at disposal of the consumer increases. Now, since at point Q, naturally the consumer has more of good X and more of good Y as compared to point P, therefore the consumer yields more utility and more satisfaction at combination Q than at P. Now, since Q is on indifference curve IC2, which is a higher indifference curve, so this shows or this proves that higher indifference curve yields higher level of satisfaction. Now the fifth property of indifference curve states that indifference curve never touches the axis in a graph. This particular property arises from an underlying assumption that the consumer should be consuming some amount of both the commodities. Now let us say that the indifference curve touches one of the axes. In this case, it is touching the y-axis. That means the consumer is deriving satisfaction by only consuming good X and 0 units of good Y. Okay, so that is already defining the underlying assumption that the consumer should be consuming some amount of both the commodities, which is why indifference curve never touches the axis in a graph. The sixth property of indifference curve is that indifference curves are not necessarily parallel to each other. This happens because the rate of substitution between the two commodities need not be same in all the indifference curves. So these are all the properties. These are some of the main properties of indifference curve.
So that's all for today. Thank you everyone. If you found the video helpful, please subscribe to our channel, press the like button, share with your friends and comment down your queries. Don't forget to press the bell icon so that whenever we upload a new video, you will receive a notification. Also, follow Economic Bytes on Instagram to know more such economic topics. Link will be provided in the description box below.